How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Asshat Podcast on YouTube. We got here, this is kind of like, I've had the Amazing Heroes and shit. Well, nowadays, the big comic magazines is like, there's Back Issue, there's Alter Ego, which covers like 50s to 60s shit. It's Back Issue, which are like 70s and 80s. There's a couple others like that. Well, that company, which is Twomorrows Publishing, put this out a long ass time ago. Yeah, the copyright for the artwork, which is, Miracleman and Miraclewoman, is Todd McFarlane Productions, Neil Gaiman, and Mark Buckingham. That tells you how long ago this came out. $12.95 cover price. I'm trying to see. 2001. Oh my God, is that old? Okay, real simple. I love Miracleman. Managed to read it pretty much as it was coming out. Some of the issues there, it might be a few months after they came out, I grabbed them, especially when they weren't coming out that often. Lost my original run. Was piecing together a second run. Was at this comic shop. And I heard about this book, wanted it, but like it's out of print. This was like 2010, 2011, 12, somewhere around there. Wanted it, but it was, like I said, it was out of print. And going for like 30, 40 bucks online, I didn't want to pay that much. I was willing to pay 12 to 20 bucks. I go into 3 Alarm Comics down in Biloxi, Mississippi, and not only do I find this, but he has file copies of like the last, all the Gaiman run and probably the last like 4 issues of the Alan Moore run. Somebody that comes in the comic shop had done some artwork for Eclipse and didn't get paid because Eclipse was going under, so they got paid in file copies, and they happen to hold on to these, and then they consignment selling them through the comic shop. So I ended up getting the issue I needed to complete my run back then. I was like missing 1 issue towards the end there. And he gave me a good deal. I mean, the bitch is mint. And he didn't ask God. This, I put up, I was like, all right, look, it says $12.95 on the back. And I was like, I'm going to be straight up honest. This thing's going for like 30, 40 bucks online. What do you want for it? And he's like, 10 bucks. I'm like, are you sure this is going for 30? 10 bucks. Wouldn't charge me more than 10 bucks. And like I said, it was in mint condition when I got it. It is got a little damage because I've read it so much. And all it is just all kinds of interviews and behind the scenes shit for the Miracleman series. And what Miracleman is, real simple. Everybody out there knows who Shazam is. Shazam was originally called Captain Marvel, published by Fawcett Comics. Lawsuit between Fawcett and DC because they said Shazam was Captain Marvel was too much of a Superman clone. Same time this shit's going on over in the UK, they're importing in the Captain Marvel stories, and they're huge. Like, they're printing them in black and white, and they're actually, I want to say they're doing so well, they're having to make new ones. I'm not sure on that part, but I know they were doing really well. So when all of a sudden Fawcett's just like, fuck it, we're not doing comics anymore. They didn't want to deal with the law. I don't know if they lost the lawsuit, won the lawsuit, I'm not sure on that. I've never looked into that part, but I know they just said, fuck it, we're not doing comics anymore. So over in the UK, they're like, fuck, we got a couple of new characters. They created Marvelman, which is this character right here. See how he looks kind of like, mixture of Shazam, Captain Marvel Shazam and Captain Marvel Jr., Freddie Freeman. He was Marvelman. They did all this stuff. He disappears. Alan Moore comes up with a revamp for him. It's published in Warrior, which is I think it was supposed to be weekly, might have been a monthly. It was one of the big magazine size, black and white color. I think it was mostly black and white things. It didn't get finished in there, got brought over to the States. Marvel Comics threatened a lawsuit over the name, so Eclipse renamed it Miracleman. And Kimota is what he said to transfer him. Shazam says Shazam, and he becomes, Captain Marvel. Marvelman says Kimota. Miracleman says Kimota. The series, Alan Moore did 15, 16 issues. Great ending. They could have ended the series there. He passed it on to Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman did one whole storyline and was starting his second or halfway into his second. I'm not exactly sure on that. When Eclipse just went under, Marvel has now gotten the rights and reprinted, I think, pretty much everything that's come out. And we're just waiting on Neil Gaiman to finish his storyline. All right, so this thing. There's just table of contents. There's just so much shit in this. And it's broken up by the different stories. Rebirth, Olympus, Golden Age, and Dark Age. There's the Andy Warhol shit, the inspiration of Miracleman, the Alex Ross, Whatever Happened to Our Miracleman by George Cowrie. Some great art in here. And this is the source of, if you look online, you'll see the issue after the last one that Eclipse printed. You'll see the artwork on like this is the source. This is where it mostly comes from. The man behind Marvelman. This is a Mick Angelo interview by George Corey. So there's some of the Marvelman stuff. Revival and Revelation. Alan Moore interview by George Corey. Alan Moore actually talking about it. He talks for a while. It's kind of interesting. Somebody drew, who is a Alan Davis draws Alan Moore's Marvelman, Miracleman. So much great art. And like I said, a lot of this stuff, this is Miracleman 15? Yeah, 15. It's near the end of Moore's run. That's after Kid Miracleman destroys London and just kills everybody. The birth issue. That great, that was a cover, if I remember right? Cover of Warrior 7. It was the cover of Miracleman 3D over here. Okay, I was going to say, I know it was something over here. Alan Moore's original proposal. And then we get a cover gallery of all the Warrior shit, all the Miracleman shit now. Let me show you. This right here. This is the last issue because this is 3D and this is the trades and one of those is Apocalypta or whatever the fuck. And all that shit. Okay. This is the final issue. It's got a Barry Windsor Smith cover. This motherfucker, even now, is not easy to find, and I've gotten 2 copies now for way below grade. One of them was about half of what it was going for at the time. And at the time, it was going for right at $100. The second one I paid under $1 for. And that cover just stands out because you got all these very Sandman-esque covers, and boom, you get that. There's all the trades and shit. That's one of the... Oh, Steve Dillon. Oh, nice. Does skin interviews. And V for Vendetta was in that series, that book Warrior. Laser Eraser and Axel Press Button or whatever the fuck that shit is in there. I'm trying to remember what else. Big shit. That's the big stuff. Quality Comics. That's the company that reprinted all the UK stuff over here in the States. Miracleman, Index. Look at this. Let me just detail after detail. Unpublished. 25 and 26. 25. Many people. Okay. Many people think this issue was printed because it was regularly solicited to retailers at one point. 25 was ready for print, but Eclipse didn't have the financial resources to print it. At the time of this printing, it still hasn't been published. It hasn't still. And it's what? Another Barry Windsor Smith. Oh, he'd been doing covers for a little bit. And it's Buckingham and Gaiman. And there's a 2D version of the 3D comic that's actually really hard to come by. If you want, like... And that's the thing. A lot of those Miracleman stuff, it's dropped in price. Like that final issue, it's not near $100 anymore, but a good quality copy is still like, a $40 to $50 book. The 2D version of that 3D issue, I really think should be at least a $20 book. At least. Probably more than that, because there's enough demand. So I don't think Marvel has done a reprint of that at all. And then more script for Miracleman 1. It's probably the only thing in here I really didn't read. I don't read comic scripts. I don't know. Especially if the comic's been published. If the comic haven't been published, I'll check it out. Magic Words and Marvelman. Alan Davis interview. I'm going to sit a few issues. I think Rick Veitch did some. There we go. Beckham and the Art of Violence. This is Chuck Austin. He was working as Chuck Beckham. He did issues 6 and 7. Whoa, shit. Okay, put that covered up. And those were like the earliest issues printed over here that were new stuff. Or at least partially new. This was a subscription ad. So I've got it in a bunch of my Eclipse books. Eclipse was a good little company. Comic artist as midwife, Rick Veitch. It's the birth. He did the birth issues. Is that the only one he did? 2 issues. Oh, he did the birth. Okay. Art of Rendering Olympus. This is John Tottleman. He did. Oh, this is cool. Miracleman, Abigail, and Swamp Thing. Look at that. That is just very nice art. Is this a... Did he do... Oh, it's from Swamp Thing issue. I forgot. I gotta reread that. It's been a long ass time since I read Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. And I'm a huge Alan Moore fan. Always have been. Everything he's put out's been at least... Well, not everything. 90% of the stuff he's put out's been at least readable. Oh, look at that. Like I said, a lot of this art... Maggie, hush up, baby. A lot of this art has probably never been printed, besides in here and then scanned and thrown online. John Tottleman's sketchbook. This is a... Okay. Lux Berevis is an idea for a science fiction story series in a very bizarre futuristic world by Alan Moore and John Tottleman. It is designed to be 6 chapters, with each chapter consisting of 8 pages each. The stories were to be included in a Tim Truman anthology book for First Comics. Alan and John quickly agreed to be a part of it. Without even seeing one penny, Alan wrote 2 scripts and John penciled the first installment. The Tim Truman project fell apart. Alan and John shelved the project and moved on to do Olympus, beginning in Miracleman number 10. Lux Brevis became a memory until now. And it's got the art. I don't know what, besides they worked on Miracleman, there's no real other connection. But hey, it's only a couple pages. It's cool looking art. A message from John Tottleman. Miracleman in the Days of Eclipse. Cat Jan Wild. I don't really know how you say this lady's last name, but I remember her columns and all the Eclipse shit for years and years. She was around that company for a long ass time. So just some great artwork. Ages of Gold, Silver, and the Darkness. Neil Gaiman interview when he did, of course. And this was during, he was 17 through 24. And this was somewhat during his Sandman run, if I'm remembering right. Picture of Death, of course. Buckingham in the Age of Miracles is Mark Buckingham. I like the thing done up as Miracleman. Mark Buckingham was a good artist to pick for the series. Even though I think because it's the unpublished Miracleman 25, this is the pages that you will see. Because I'll be honest, until these Marvel reprints, most of y'all read this shit through scans if you read it. Yeah, I mean, nobody was paying. Besides some real crazy fans were paying what people wanted for these issues. I mean, the prices were just like stupid high. Because the first issue had been a subject of speculation when it came out. People thought it was going to be this huge hit because there was talk about it in the U.S. already because of the copies of Warrior getting over here. But it didn't. There was more printed than there was demand. But the issue actually was going up for a little bit. And then you get towards the end there, then the last few issues, the print runs are tiny. Especially the trades. Miracleman cover story. This is Barry Windsor Smith talking about the few covers he did. Bo Smith, Miracleman in the post-eclipse days. And see, Todd McFarlane at this time thought him, Neil Gaiman, and Buckingham owned, and this is just ads for more stuff from Twomorrows. Thought they owned Miracleman. And now, as far as I can tell, I think Marvel pretty much owns. I'm not exactly sure, but they got the rights to reprint the old shit and do more stuff. And Alan Moore's not credited at all. It's like, he's listed as like the original writer or some shit. I don't know. It's Alan Moore. He's kind of nutty, but hey, I hope you enjoyed that. If you've ever seen this before, this Kimota book, or you own a copy, leave a comment. I want to see if anybody out there owns a copy besides me. I know there is other people, but people watch them. Leave a comment, all that other shit. Give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. You know the routine. Talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.